Coming up on Wildcats Media News. An update on LC's accreditation process, career and health fairs.
It's a transition from the college to the professional world.
A look at Christ in the Passover.
This presentation is useful for many Christians.
And an Irish-themed race across campus. That and more on Wildcats Media News.
From Studio A in the Martin Performing Arts Center, this is Wildcats Media News.
Hello and welcome to Wildcats Media News, your campus news source. I'm Mark Klein. First up, following a one-day visit to LC, Sachs had this to say about the school's current accreditation status. According to an LC News press release, Louisiana College is in compliance with all standards except one, which deals with external influence. LC will receive a written report from the team and will have the opportunity to respond accordingly. Sachs will render its final decision regarding LC's probationary status in its regularly scheduled meeting in June. It's an opportunity to get 3 cultural credits and learn how to save a life. Wildcats Media's Emily Lansing has more from the health fair.
The 2015 Louisiana College Health Fair provided students with exposure to resources they normally don't have access to.
This is allowing them to be aware of what health services are available in our community for them.
Students were able to explore the vendors, speak to healthcare professionals, and even get massages. With so much to do, many students were eager to attend the health fair.
This is probably one of the larger health fairs that we have had.
With vendors ranging from local hospitals, gyms, and massage therapy clinics, students had a lot to learn.
I learned pretty interesting things, like how much sugar is in drinks that you don't really think about. Eyesight, a lot of stuff about abortion and how damaging it is spiritually, physically, and mentally. As a college student, you don't always think about your health, your eyesight and your back, and so it's good to remember that those things are always important, even when you're young.
Not only were the vendors there to inform students, but also to provide free checkups.
We are participating doing blood pressure checks and also blood glucose checks. It's good to have an annual physical, just to the basics, your blood pressure, your blood sugar, maybe a baseline on your cholesterol, just to see where you are.
Due to the student and vendor turnout, this year's health fair was one of the most popular LC has ever seen.
I think it's been a success and looking forward to next year being even bigger and better.
Reporting from the 2015 health fair, I'm Emily Lansing.
And the health fair wasn't the only fair held in Granbury. The goal of this one, to get a job. Students met with potential employers at the career fair last week. Representatives from local media, education, and healthcare were just a few of the businesses on hand.
Could possibly meet prospective employers. Several of our students have left with interviews and with a job. Several of them have even left with a job.
Students had the added bonus of presenting professionally crafted resumes from LC's Resume Building Workshop. And students had some fun during St. Patrick's Day with the first ever race around campus. Here's Wildcats Media's Hannah Fleming with more.
All right, in 3, 2, 1, go!
Wearing green isn't the only thing Louisiana College students did on St. Patrick's Day.
We have the nosedive, we have the toilet paper hike, the golf ball stack.
Students dashed across campus completing many challenges during the Leprechaun Dash on Tuesday, March 17th. Students formed teams of 2 or 3 and competed in 10 mini games. Throughout the campus, students were bobbing for apples, tossing eggs, and much more in order to min it to win it. Res Life Catherine Duberville helped host the event and said it was different from the other events held this semester.
Just the combination of the slip and slide and the colors, like a color run, and the minute to win it games, it was just really different.
Duberville says after they found out the event was on St. Patrick's Day, they wanted to use that as the theme.
Just sort of snowballed. We thought that the race kind of idea would be fun, and so it just built from there.
There were a total of 7 teams, but only one team came out the fastest. First place winners Caitlin Woolen, Cole Crook, and Kiana Gill received a box of Lucky Charms with 3 $25 gift cards. Second place winners Team Quarterblack received, just 1 box of Lucky Charms. The winning team plans to use the money in practical ways.
Well, Kiana, she didn't really tell us what she's going to do, but she's probably going to buy food, and we'll probably go on a date.
Team Quarterblack may have some trouble sharing their 1 box of Lucky Charms.
My favorite part was bobbing for apples because I got all the way in the water.
Whether it's bobbing for apples or eating a box of Lucky Charms, LC students know how to have fun on St. Patrick's Day. With Wildcats Media News, I'm Hannah Fleming.
And with springtime comes another holiday. Christians know it as Easter, but before that, the time was reserved for another holy day. The Feast of Passover is celebrated to remember the night God spared the Jews from the judgments brought upon Egypt. At LC, representatives from the group Jews for Jesus presented Christ in the Passover. The event compared symbols found in the Jewish holiday to the gospel.
We can show more evidently the meaning of main Christian traditions such as communion service. And we hope that this topic, this presentation is useful for many Christians.
To learn more about the organization, check out its website, jewsforjesus.org. And it was a chance to visit the opera. Emily Lansing has more from the Bartered Bride. When we come back, Karylon Thornton has sports.
Experience for the students because they have seen how much work goes into it, and it really has been a lot of fun, a whole lot of fun, and getting this all together. And now that it's over, I'm ready to do another one. People will make fun of me when I get home. Seeing them grow as musicians and actors and singers on stage, because it's a very, very different animal to learn a full role in an opera versus any other type of theater thing, or just pulling together a recital, because you have to keep an entire character the entire 2 hours or 3 hours that it's on. So
I'd marry her right now. All the villagers in the village would envy me. I like you quite a lot too.
They put in a whole lot of work, and I think it really was a success. They're very happy with it. They seem to have a lot of fun on stage, which is the most important part, that they have fun with it.
Welcome to sports, I'm Karylon Thornton. The accolades just keep rolling in for men's basketball player Anthony Gaines Jr. In addition to being named Player of the Year and Co-Defensive Player of the Year in the American Southwest Conference, Gaines has also been named to First Team All-South Region and the All-American Team. Tough weekend for the LC baseball team as they dropped their weekend series to Sul Ross State. Due to weather concerns, the baseball series that was originally set for Friday and Saturday was moved to Thursday and Friday. And that Thursday, the Cats had one of their best nights at the plate. In the first inning, senior outfielder Jermaine Liggins put the Wildcats ahead 4-0 with his grand slam over the scoreboard.
I saw the bases loaded, run on third. My job is to get that run in on third base, getting the ball up, something I can elevate and hit something deep to the outfield and score that run.
Including the grand slam, Liggins would finish the game going 3 for 5, 5 RBIs, and also a triple. Despite a great hitting night and a 6-2 lead going into the 6th inning, the Cats weren't able to pull out the win, losing 14-9 after the Lobos scored 12 runs in the final 2 frames.
Baseball's, a unique sport where no matter how much you're up, you still have to get 27 outs. There's no shot clock, there's no time limit, so you got to play the full game. And we fought hard to the end, and even when we were down, but just didn't end up our way.
The Cats would also go on to drop the doubleheader on Friday by scores of 5-1 and 10-8.
We've hit a wall, but we're going to back up and we're going to run right through that wall, and we're going to show everybody that we're capable of playing and doing what we're supposed to do.
The Wildcat baseball team also held their first annual Pink Game. A pink game in the sports world is known as a show of support for those fighting cancer as well as cancer survivors. The Cats wore pink shirts, pink accessories, and even had pink bases. With the help of the fans, community, and the visiting Lobos, the Wildcats raised almost $1,000 in donations.
We thought this was a great way for us to give back to the community, and we had a great turnout. We raised right at $1,000 that we're going to donate.
With survivors and those fighting in attendance, one in particular was Colinda Burns, wife of head coach Mike Burns. She threw out the first pitch to her son, assistant Matt Burns, and even during this time, she continues to support the team.
And we feel like she is family,
One of the biggest parts of this team, she's been one of our biggest fans as long as I've been here.
She's out here every game. She supports us all the time. She wants to see us win just as bad as we want to win.
The team has adopted a slogan that is on the back of their shirts, their baseball caps, and they even break the huddle with it. And they use it as a reminder that what they do is bigger than baseball.
It's just my wife's initials are CB. It's Kalinda Burns.
The fight for CB, puts everything in perspective. That's bigger than us and it's bigger than the sport itself. It's you're playing for somebody.
There's bigger things going on out there than us losing ball games, and it kind of brought us together and like, hey, let's play for a reason, and we're playing for Coach's wife.
It makes her feel good. It makes me feel good. It makes our whole family feel good. So it just tells you what these guys are made of and what they're about, and they're not only winners on the baseball field, but they're going to be winners in life.
CB on 3. 1, 2, 3. CB!
LC softball is off to a great start. The Lady Wildcats sit at number 3 in the conference after suffering their first loss this past weekend to Hardin-Simmons.
It was a little tough loss to drop 2 to Hardin-Simmons, but I think it's going to be like motivation for us to come back and get those wins.
With a record of 12-3, the Lady Cats are also number 21 in the national ranks.
We haven't really been focused on the national ranking, but it's a positive side effect of playing well.
They will step out of conference play for a while to take on regional opponent University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire.
It's going to be good to play someone different. It's not going to affect us in conference, which will be nice, but I think if we can get these wins, it'll help us.
The LC tennis team traveled to Shreveport to take on Centenary College. The men's team picked up their first win of the season by a score of 6-3 against the Generals, while the women fell 9-0. And that'll do it for Sports Mark.
Gotta tell you, tennis, are you any good?
No, not one of my best qualities.
You know what? Not there either. Tell you what I was pretty good at, though, back in the day. Had class with Mean Gene Rushing. Badminton. I'm a champ.
I think everyone's good. If you take him, you all-star, man.
I know. Tell you what, I ended up with an A in the class, which, just saying, there might have been some nepotism involved. We did a couple stories on him that year. That being said,
do what you gotta do to
win. That's it. All right, well, thank you guys so much for tuning in for this week's Wildcats Media News. I'm Mark Klein.
And I'm Karylon Thornton.
I'll see you later.